Welcome to episode 4 of the Fast and Goal podcast. My name is Gavin Fast, and this is my co-host Clayton Fast.
Hello, guys.
And today we're going to be doing a shorter episode and just going over the Sunday college football games and also briefly looking into tomorrow's college football game for Labor Day. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will hop right into it with the game that we were at halftime for episode 3. It was Virginia Tech and South Carolina, where the favorite South Carolina not only won but ended up covering the spread there with a good fourth quarter performance. Kyron Jones just looked horrible this game. He was very inaccurate on a lot of passes. There were a few, I forgot which one of these players it was, but like Virginia Tech receivers had to come up with a few nice grabs just to even get him to 221 yards. He overthrew a lot of guys, he underthrew a lot of guys, and South Carolina's secondary was giving him a lot, and he just ended up not being able to capitalize on some of those. Um, so Clayton, what did you think about Kyron Drones' performance for Virginia Tech?
I thought his performance 42% 15 for 35. I think Sellers was he wasn't very good in the first half, but in the second half, South Carolina was able to group together and they were able to completely take over the fourth quarter.
hmm Yeah, I don't think Sellers was a great passer by any means in this game. A lot of the 209 yards was that deep ball to Nick Harbor, which was a perfect deep ball. Nick Harbor, as we know, is one of the fastest players in the country. He was the top receiver out of the 2023 class. So I think it's finally Nick Harbor's time to pan out, and it's him and Sellers are kind of the perfect match for wide receiver one with quarterback duo, possibly one of the best duos in the country if Nick Harbor can you know, reach his full potential. So yeah, we kind of ever since that long punt return for South Carolina, they kind of just turned up in the fourth quarter and kept that momentum the whole way through. So you can see they outscored them 14-3 there. If we look at the total yards, let's see.
Yeah, I think that punt return really boosted this
Yeah, Virginia Tech outgained South
South
Carolina
Carolina with the
barely,
benefit.
but as you can see, it's just fourth down, 0 for 1 versus 1 for 1. And then the two turnovers, I know one was kind of a meaningless turnover on fourth down. And then where was the other pick? He threw two picks. One was very late in the game that didn't really matter. The other one was here early after a long drive. Kyron threw that pick. So yeah, I didn't think South Carolina played great. Kind of luck boxed their way through this with that punt return. So I don't know. Do you think South Carolina's a playoff team, Clayton, or did they look kind of fraudulent today?
They looked fraudulent the first three quarters, but the fourth quarter they kind of took over and did what they needed to. So I would say they're a contender. They'd probably be like a 10 or 11 seed if they get in. But I would like to see more from Sellers next game. But
hmm
they definitely, I feel like they got a little lucky on that flag for that punt, where it was what an illegal formation, and then they had to re-punt the ball, and then they had that punt return touchdown.
Oh, I didn't even see that. So the punt return touchdown was on a second attempt.
Yeah, the first one was a really nice kick, and they took it as a re-punt.
Oh,
So, and it was a return because of an illegal formation. They had four guys in the back.
I see. Okay. So yeah, South Carolina kind of getting lucky there. Kyron had a horrible game for Virginia Tech. But then over to the bigger game of the day, we had Miami and Notre Dame, and Both quarterbacks pretty efficient. 19 for 30 with CJ Carr. That's about 65, 64%. And then Carson Beck 20 for 30. That's 67%. Both quarterbacks played well, I think. The one interception for Carr wasn't really his fault. It was kind of bobbled by the receiver and then kicked up in the air by the corner. So both quarterbacks played well, I'd say. I'm surprised they didn't use Jeremiah Love more. The announcers were speculating maybe he was dealing with an injury, but it didn't really look like he was injured anytime he touched the ball. He was super explosive. The O-line wasn't really giving him much, but he was still finding a way to get positive yards and like turn losses into gains, which I think a lot of other running backs in this situation would have had, 10 carries for 10 yards. Jeremiah Love found a way to somehow get 33 with that horrible offensive line play. Um, I think Malachi Tony looked really good for Miami. He's a really fast guy. He ran a couple nice out routes there in man coverage. And who else? CJ Daniels made that really great catch there in the end zone. And yeah, what do you think about the Miami Notre Dame game, Clayton?
Um, I felt that Carson Beck way overperformed than what he was going to. I did not think he was going to go that high percentage rated. He went 20 for 30, 205 yards, two touchdowns. He's just I don't know. I feel like he is in contention for the Heisman now. I mean, they went up against potentially one of the best defenses supposedly in the country, at like at least a top 10 defense they're supposed to be this year. But we will see if like we see more from Notre Dame and their fraudulent defense. But I feel like it's just one game on the road. I know Miami isn't that hard to play to for on the road, but it's just a road game for them, And CJ Carr's game, I mean, he had one pick, which technically was the receiver's fault, wasn't even hardly his fault, but
Yeah, it was kind of bad play call,
I
bad
just feel like,
receiver. It wasn't necessarily an inaccurate pass by any means. But yeah, I think that Carson Beck's one touchdown throw when the pocket kind of collapsed, he kind of stepped to the left and then fit it in a tight window. Same with CJ Carr on that third and goal. He kind of dropped all the way back to the 30, scrambled around, and then found the wide open man. So I think both of these teams have great offenses. I wish we saw more of Jeremiah Love. So not
yeah,
really.
I don't know if Jeremiah Love's still doing it, but yeah, I think he had a knee injury at the end of last year.
Yeah, last year, yeah, he finished that year with the knee injury. Maybe that kind of maybe played less snaps over those summer camps. But yeah, Price really impressed me as well. He had a couple explosive runs up the middle. I don't think Notre Dame played bad by any means. I think the defensive pass interference call was definitely a questionable one there at the end of the fourth quarter, putting in Miami in field goal range to go ahead and win that game. Like, it looked like it could have been, or sorry, they called it defensive pass interference on Notre Dame. It looked like it could have been called offensive pass interference on Miami. That's what the corner thought at first. He was clapping. It looks like that's what the ref was going to call. And the ref kind of switched up and called it on the defense. It looked a little confusing because it looks like the receiver threw him down, which is what resulted in the corner tripping him. So I'm interested to see what other people think about that. And yeah, so I don't think Notre Dame played bad by any means. They definitely picked it up there in the fourth quarter, had a slow start, which you can expect with CJ Carr. They're not really letting him take shots down the field. And then they kind of picked it up there towards the end, but I think the main factor of this game was Miami just controlled the line of scrimmage. Miami had the better D line, the better O line, which is really surprising because normally, like historically, the last 10 years, Miami, you'd never be able to say that about Miami controlling the line of scrimmage. But here we are in 2025. Mario Cristobal's got their line of scrimmage in check. And I think both of these teams could go far. I don't think this is detrimental for Notre Dame. They have an easy schedule the rest of the year. They could
You think
definitely
they are a
still.
playoff team this year?
Yeah, I still think that they
Still,
make the playoffs. Because I don't think CJ Carr looked bad. I think Jeremiah Love looked good. They just need to fix some things on the offensive line, and I think that they're good.
okay. And is Miami for sure in then with this huge win for them?
Um, I wouldn't say for sure in. Oh, they just gave back another. They counted him for another attempt. He's 20 for 31 now. Um, I wouldn't say that they're for sure in. I do want to see a little bit more from them. I mean, they still have to play Florida. They still have to play Florida State. I believe they avoid Clemson, but they'll probably run into them in the ACC championship if they do make it to the ACC championship. At SMU isn't very easy. So yeah, I want to say Miami's a lock because you never really know with Carson Beck, but we will see. And then let's move on to tomorrow's game. TCU at North Carolina. We talked about it a little bit in episode 3 of the podcast. I like the under, and I went over that a lot more in the last episode. If you guys want to go check out that last episode, Clayton, do you lean either of these teams here, or do you lean the over or the under? Is there anything that you're expecting to see out of this game?
Um, I'm not expecting to see much out of this game. I think this is going to be a very boring game. I just don't know why we're having a TCU versus North Carolina matchup on a Labor Day Monday. I feel like there could have been a way better matchup to watch, but I don't know what they're doing, but that's, I guess, what they want to happen. But I feel like it's going to be a boring game, low scoring. Um, probably going to be a one possession game. I would say that I would lean to the under, or well, I would go under for sure, but like I don't know who's going to win. I don't know very much about either of these teams besides Bill Belichick, but how much does a coach affect a college football team?
Hmm. Yeah, so we see. I mean, I think the off the field stuff with Bill could potentially be an issue, but he definitely brought in some good transfers. Definitely got a good roster going right now. The transfer quarterback, I don't like. He played good in the power or in the group of five, but it'll be interesting to see how he plays against the TCU defense. I think North Carolina could definitely pull off the upset, especially because they're at home. TCU is gonna have to rely a lot on Hoover, and he's down his star receivers from last year. Both of them went top 3 in the draft. So I think North Carolina could pull off the upset, and I like the under as well. Um, is that about all you have for the game for now?
Yeah, that's all I have for that game.
Okay. So that's really all I have for today's 2 games and for tomorrow's game. Be on the lookout for a YouTube short regarding tomorrow's game. We might have a little bit more info there for you guys and maybe a couple more predictions. And be on the lookout for some more episodes. We're going to do some NFL stuff, maybe dabble into some other sports as well. And we're just going to get creative with it, try to find as much content to get out there as possible, not necessarily always previewing and predicting college football matchups. Is there anything else you have to add, Clayton, or should we just go ahead and wrap this up and get into the next episode for NFL fantasy?
Oh yeah, that's I mean, there's nothing else I got really besides just comment down below what you guys would like to see. If you guys would like some MLB stuff, like some MLB playoff teams that we think, or um what else we got going on right now? We
Yeah,
got
we could look into really right now it's just MLB, but we could college basketball is coming in a month or so.
hockey, some really
Yeah.
early hockey stuff.
Hockey and NBA are coming soon, so we can go over some early stuff before those seasons get started. And like you said, MLB playoffs. We can always talk about the Heisman, NFL MVP, that kind of thing.
Yeah, or you guys want to do like challenges and stuff, we can do those as well.
Yeah, so you guys just recommend whatever for us in the comments and any of our podcasts, and we will see you guys in the fifth episode coming here in just a little bit. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.